be separated from God. He wants to be separated from God. He wants to live how he wants to live, and he wants to be his own final authority. The threat of being separated from God is really no threat to a lost person. Although hell is separation from God, it isn't separation from his anger and his wrath. Deuteronomy 32:22 says, "For a fire is kindled in mine anger and shall burn the lowest hell." Second, he is abandoned and deserted, and that is because there is no hope in hell. If you died right now without the Lord Jesus Christ, then God has a place to toss your wicked soul to be burned. And God has no use for a wicked soul that will reject his Son. The Bible says that God has no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but he is so holy and so just that he can't let a lost sinner into heaven, no matter how much he might love that person. As Christians, when we run into trouble and heartache on this earth, our natural instinct is to call upon God and say, "Lord, save me." And even when a lost person is in a tragedy or in a near-death experience, most of the time their first reaction in that time of trouble is to say, "Oh God," or "God, help me." And the scary thing about hell is that God forsakes you and you can't call on God in hell. If you have breath, if you have life left, then you have hope. But if you get to hell, there is no hope. The Bible says, "Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth." The book of James says, "For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, and then vanisheth away." So you could die today, you could die tonight, you could die tomorrow. Don't count on having more opportunities to be saved, because you could die today. But as long as there's breath, there's hope. And you can be saved today if you will come to Jesus Christ as a guilty sinner and believe on him. But next we see the cross is another picture of hell because of the humiliation. And one of the purposes of hanging men on the cross was just for that humiliation. Jesus Christ was naked when he hung on the cross. Matthew 27:35 says, "And they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots. They also mocked him by putting a crown of thorns on his head and yelling, 'Hail, King of the Jews.'" And this pictures the sinner in hell who will be naked. You came into this world naked, and unless you get clothed in a white robe from God, you will go naked into hell for rejecting God's Son. Job 1:21 says, "And said, Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken."
Like pretty things, kick a bitch, call me Luke Kane. Dumb bitch, give me dumb